battleground where warriors collide. Die Hard MMA podcast, we won't hide. Clint's gonna get beat, analyze each brawl from the underdogs to the champions standing tall. The fury, let your instincts rise. Feel the adrenaline rush, it's time to defy. Die Hard MMA, we're in for the thrill. Get ready for the madness. Let's make that bankroll spill.
Happy Friday, degenerate gamblers. Welcome on back to the Undefeated Post-Weigh-In Show. I'm your boy, your host as always, your man Clint back here behind the camera. And we're going to go ahead and give the new features here a little bit of a run. Check it out. Check it out. Live comments. Live comments. Get in the chat. You want to see yourself up on the screen? Yeah, of course. Of course. I will highlight the good ones, especially those of you whom I love. So yes, if you were ever wondering, does Clint bring my comment up on the shows because he likes me more than the other people in the chat? The answer is yes. But for those of you who haven't earned my love yet, you can now populate the comment section right here as we go through the show. So let's give this a whirl here on a Friday. How is everybody doing? Daniel Flynn in the house. TH, what is up? C. Dell saying he locked in Fialio round 3 or decision at plus 340 at FanDuel. That is a nice little line. I like that. Jeff K, what is up? Saying strip. John Jones, I completely agree. Let's do it. K Deep, how we doing? My man D in the house. And you know, first one gets highlighted up. Like I said, some people I love more than others. It just is what it is. AW MD, how's everybody? I'm kidding. You guys are all the good ones in here. I just had to mess with everybody. And D's one of my favorites. Y'all know this. He's always supporting the show. He's been around for a long time. All right. If it is your first time watching the Undefeated Post-Weigh-In Show, I'm going to take everything we know already about these fights. Watch the Monday live show. I have an awesome guest. They're smarter than me. We talk about these fights forward and backwards, give you all the information that we possibly can about these matchups. But then we take the rest of the week. We listen to the fighter interviews. We talk with the boys. We look at the stats. We make sure to watch the weigh-ins. We watch the face-offs. I will tell you who won the mental game. I will let you know if somebody had a baby or if somebody was in the backseat of somebody's trunk trying to cut weight leading up into these fights. I let you know all the juicy little tidbits that you might need here on a Friday. And then we pack all that up. We wrap it in a nice little box. We put a bow on it and we give it as a gift for Mother's Day to our moms so she can go gamble our inheritance away at UFC Vegas 107. That's what this show is for. We make sure you've got everything you need to make a good bet on the UFC tomorrow. And of course, it is called Undefeated for a reason, you guys. We have never had a bad read on this show. We have never made a bad bet on this show. Batting 1,000, 0 losses, undefeated right here. And every once in a while, with good reason, we break out that tinfoil cap. That's how we roll. So let's get into it. If you haven't yet, make sure you get subscribed because this is the home of the best MMA content on the net today. I know a lot of you guys are still recovering and finding me after hopping around for the last 6 years. We're staying. We're home. This is the channel from now on. So get subbed, hit the like button so that the algorithm knows what's up. If you're on another social media platform or if you're on Twitch or whatever, that's fine. That's great. Thank you. Get subscribed there too. Share the damn thing out and make sure you send it to mom, like I said. Mark asking if I still like Barber to win a decision. That is the question, isn't it? That is the question, isn't it? We'll talk about it because it's the main event, Mark, so don't get ahead of me here. We will get there. Now, asking about Ottinger getting yanked, I mean, frankly, I think it was the right move. I mean, we're talking hockey now on an MMA show for Friday. So for you guys, I apologize, but the Stars getting booted from the playoffs was kind of a big deal. Ottinger just sucked the last couple of games. And frankly, the team looked better without him after he got pulled, in my opinion. A couple of really, if you watch that game, a couple of really unlucky bounces that scored some goals for the Oilers. I thought the Stars were going to come back and win it. I really did. Anyway, let's get into the fights, you guys. First fight of the night, we've got Rayani Dos Santos, and she takes on Elise Ardelene, which I believe you guys were getting on me about pronouncing incorrectly really badly last time. So Ardelene, I believe, is the way that you say that. 116 pounds for Rayani Dos Santos, 115 for Elise Ardelene. And they both looked really good. No issues here. Obviously, big smiles, big flexes all the way around. The big thing that got me, you guys, look at these two ladies size up. In my mind, I'm going Rayani Dos Santos, the natural 105er. Rayani Dos Santos, the smaller fighter. Like, I'm expecting a decent size advantage here for Elise Ardelene. Not only is there not a size advantage, but Rayani has a much larger head, which you guys know, I think that's an HGH thing. And also, it's harder to knock out people with a bigger head. Not that that matters at women's MMA. But she has the bigger frame. Very apparently, she's got the larger frame here in this spot, and she looks thicker to me. I mean, we talked all week about it, you guys. I know a lot of people thinking Elise Ardelene is a live dog. This number is coming down. You had Rayani Dos Santos a minus 270, minus 280 favorite earlier in the week, and now that money's come in on Elise Ardelene, she's a plus 180-ish underdog. So a lot of people snatched up that plus money early. I don't get it. I completely am sold that this is going to be Rayani Dos Santos' coming out party. She is better than Elise Ardelene everywhere. She is a professional MMA fighter as opposed to being a TikTok star. I think she's going to have huge grappling success. I think she'll be able to bully this girl around physically. I think she'll be able to hurt this chick with her hands because Rayani Dos Santos actually hits hard, underratedly so, when she really does bite down and swing and bite on her mouthpiece and go. We've seen that in the past, not at the UFC level, but on her regionals on the way up. And let's be real here. Elise Ardelene is essentially a regional scene fighter. She is not a UFC caliber competitor. This is the UFC giving Rayani Dos Santos the lowest bar possible. And after getting robbed in back-to-back split decisions, I think Rayani Dos Santos is going to take this chick to school. Now, it's really weird to think, hey, I feel like lining up and laying minus 200 on a low-level women's MMA fight. But you've got the younger fighter. You've got who appears to be the more physical of the two fighters. You've got the higher level fighter. You've got the grappling advantage in a small cage. Everything here points to Rayani Dos Santos. And yeah, the market's moving against me, and I get that. I kind of don't care. I think I'm going to do something with Rayani Dos Santos, you guys. I really think I'm going to do something with her. Groundskeeper saying that Elise is 30% heavier. I mean, Groundskeeper, where are you getting that number, though? I mean, like, yeah, I know we're talking rehydration and stuff like that. But I don't think she's going to be 30% heavier. That's nuts to me. Unless you've got, you send me a link. Like, did she post something up on Twitter? Did she post something up on Instagram? Did she show how much she recovered? And do we have comparisons for Rayani Dos Santos also rehydrating? Because I'm not seeing it out there. So give me the info if you got the info. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. I like that, Daniel Flynn. Looking for the exact submission prop of Rayani Dos Santos by armbar at 8-1. I don't mind that whatsoever. Muhammad, I am Bruce Lee. What's going on in the chat? Angel, I appreciate you. I'm ready to go here. We took a week off. We didn't have UFC to gamble on, and now we have the dumpster diviest, low-levelest card possible. You know this is what I'm built for, baby. I'm here. I'm in the house. I'm ready to rock. I can't wait for these fights to go down, and I can't wait to lose money on them. So in this one, I'm telling you guys, Reani Dos Santos by sub is plus 500. Reani Dos Santos inside the distance, so you get the ground and pound positional TKO, so you get the Denise Gomes right hook in there. It's plus 450. It's 50 cents cheaper to go from sub to inside the distance. Yeah, inside the distance is the way that we're looking here. Now, this really is one of those ones, you guys, where if the decision is probably the most likely outcome, but as a value jockey, I can't say no to the plus 450 on a potential finish, considering the advantages that this girl has in the cage here on Saturday. Because I just want to pull this up one more time. I know I talked about this briefly on the Monday show, and then I promise you we'll move on because this is, definitely the lowest level fight on the card here. But before Reani got to the UFC, she won her belt in Invicta FC by beating my girl Jillian DeCourcy. Now, Jillian, a little bit older, little long in the tooth, never made it to the high level, but I mean, she got the brakes beaten off her. Like Jillian DeCourcy, one of the toughest people on the regional scene that you're going to find. And a lot of people would have been knocked out in that fight. So I think the finishing potential is definitely there. And that armbar call is actually really sneaky from our chat here, because she's got a lot of arm bars, and we've seen that be a thing in women's MMA. Oh my God, she's got more arm bars than I thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dear God, she has 7 armbar finishes. So of the 8 submission wins that Reani Dos Santos brings with her to the cage, 7 of those are arm bars. My God, I didn't realize it was that one-sided. Good Lord. What's up, Mushroom? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Daniel Flynn in the chat. Yeah, you hit that the same time I did. 7 out of 8 arm bars. My God, that's absolutely insane. I had no idea that she was going to be that she was that uniquely exposed to the arm bar. Sev, yeah, I mean, people just throwing numbers out there, and that's fine. If it's a ballpark on like that 30% inflation or whatever, like, okay, whatever. But you just got to account for both. You know what I mean? You got to account for both fighters being able to rehydrate. And again, if you look at the face-off, Reani looks thicker. She looks larger. You know what I mean? So if they're both cutting weight, if they're both rehydrating, I don't think that Elise Ardelene is going to add 2 inches to her spine, which, don't get me wrong, some people actually, they do get a little bit taller after they rehydrate because the fluid in the spine gets sucked out during the weight cut process. But she's not physically to the point that I would think she's going to be like towering over Reani on Saturday night. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll find out. I'm willing to say that the market is wrong. I'm willing to say that the market is doing what they always accuse me of doing here, and dog chasing. We know Reani got robbed in her last couple of fights. I mean, highway robbery, robbed in her last 2 fights. This is where she makes it all right. And I think she's going to get a sub. And I wouldn't even be shocked if it's a TKO. 18-1. Let's fucking go. All right. Let's keep it rolling, you guys. Next up, we've got Bellagio taking on Michael Aswell. Aswell is your pictured fighter here at 155. Oki needed the half pound. As you can see, Aswell is all smiles. No problem here with him today. And you've got Bellagio Oki, extremely intense on the scales this morning. Very huge flex. He is cut up. He is in shape. He is ready to go. And he's going to enjoy a nice little size advantage here. So it's not overly significant, but Oki is definitely the larger of the 2 fighters. I want to go ahead and point out here that when they got done with this face-off, Aswell, he booked it the fuck out of there. He wanted nothing to do with that. Now, I don't know if that's just a like, it's showtime and I'm ready to go type of situation or what, but once they were done facing off, Oki was going to do the whole like, you leave first, I'm not leaving type of thing. He was locked in. He was intense. He was ready to get crazy eyes going. And Aswell was like, all right, see ya. Like, it was over so fast. He dipped right on out there. Maybe that's his personality. But I feel like Oki definitely won the stare down in that kind of a situation, right? I'll be honest with you guys. This is a bit of a mix and match type of fight. It's a little bit of a late notice put together type of fight. I lean towards Oki here in this spot. I'm not as familiar with Michael Aswell as I would like to be. So this is not a fight I'm going to have a whole lot of interest in. Oki still has to kind of prove it to me, right? His last fight, I was not all in, but I had a bet on him. I picked him to win. I thought he was going to be a guy the UFC was getting behind and kind of hyped him up. And then he sticks his neck in a guillotine and gets tapped out like immediately. it's rough, especially he started really well in that fight. So it could have just been like a young man's over aggression type of situation where if he had just calmed himself down maybe a little bit, he wouldn't have ended up in that situation. He might have just been able to bully his way to a finish. But the split decision to Timothy Kwamba on his record, I've talked about how that kind of worries me. I don't think Timmy is a guy in the UFC that we should be too excited about. So it's questionable. He's still just really green for me, especially when we're talking minus 375. Now, at the end of the day, I do think Oki wins this fight. But again, super uncomfortable. Not really feeling Michael Aswell. I need to watch these guys in the cage a little bit more. This is a take notes kind of fight for me. Now, I will be picking Bellagio to go ahead and get the win, but that's basically where it's going to stop for me. I don't have any interest in doing anything with this one. Kalani says under 2.5 watch. And you know what? I kind of dig that, right? Under 2.5 is plus 120. And then Oki, if you want to get him like KO, is plus 165. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I could see this fight being violent. Absolutely. Don't hate it whatsoever. Mushroom is agreeing with Kalani. So, yeah, I mean, the chat is liking some violence here in this fight, and I could see it. I could see it. I think this is the kind of fight where that kind of thing takes place. Next up, you've got Kurt Hollowbaugh taking on Jordan Leavitt. The Monkey King is back, as you can see, being a goofball up here on the stage, enjoying himself at weigh-ins as per usual. Never takes himself too seriously. My kind of guy. Kurt on the other side of this thing looks very good, locked in, focused, in shape. He's got that rogue white hair streak thing going. You know, if you guys watched X-Men in the 2000s, that's her style. You've got Kurt with a slight size advantage here, but just based on, looking at them here, it does look to me like Leavitt's a little bit on the thicker side, right? And it's not a big discrepancy size-wise, right? Like Kurt is bigger definitely, but it's not by a lot, as you can tell. And it does look like we've got the size of the head advantage thing going on again, right? I like Leavitt in this spot, you guys. I do like Jordan Leavitt. It's not a fight that I am writing home about, but I think the grappling upside for Leavitt is really going to make the difference. I think Leavitt's striking is very underrated. He's very serviceable. He's not the best, don't get me wrong, but he's working on it. But what he does is scramble extremely well, and he knows how to find his way to top position in said scrambles. Kurt Hollowbaugh in those scrambles loses. Kurt Hollowbaugh ends up on his back in those scrambles. So I like the thicker man who looks like he's got maybe a little bit more horsepower behind him. I like the grappling edge, especially in the small cage. And I do like the unconventional upside of a guy like Jordan Leavitt. Now, I think this is going to be a decision, you guys. I think Leavitt really is going to be desperate to get himself back in the win column. He scrambled with Chase Hooper. He ended up on the wrong side of a submission loss in that fight. And I think because of that, we'll see maybe a little bit more controlled version of him. I can't promise you that that's the case, but I do lean towards the over on this one. I'm leaning towards Leavitt by decision, which is plus 130. I will make mention, though, Leavitt by sub is now about plus 240, and that was plus 300 earlier in the week. So I understand that there's a path to victory here. I understand that Kurt Hollowbaugh can give up the sub, but it's not like he's been subbed 5-6 times, right? Like this guy's been submitted once, and sometimes he ends up on his back a little bit too much. I like how aggressive Leavitt is when he gets an opportunity for a submission. So that sub prop is definitely live in this spot. And when I broke this fight down from a props perspective, if you guys haven't watched my hot props show, I get a little earlier in the week, first glance, some of the things that get dropped. And I was talking about my submission special. If you guys follow me and my bets, and I always try to do like a submission special parlay. It's one of my favorite things to do. It almost never hits. I was saying that I'm almost out of sub props on this card, and Leavitt is the one that I kind of forgot about. Leavitt sub is definitely one that could be viable. So if we wanted to do like Reina dos Santos by sub or inside the distance to protect that, that extra 50 cents for the KO prop, and then Leavitt sub with, whatever else one that you liked. We talked about like the Filho Nascimento being the other option there. So definitely Leavitt by sub is something that we could throw into that prop parlay if we wanted to, but it's a small sprinkle for a long shot payout. Nothing I'm too excited about, but I think I like the Leavitt side here. And on top of that, even though there's been a little bit of Kurt Hollowbaugh love, the line is kind of solidified here with Leavitt being a minus 245 favorite. So it's kind of, wiggled a little bit, but then solidified. It's not coming down any further. So I don't think anybody is super invested on the Kurt Hollowbaugh side, or there's not like piles of sharp money that we should be scared of on the Hollowbaugh side, because that line would have moved a little bit more aggressively past that 2x mark if there had been, in my opinion. Mark saying no twerking, win or lose. I refuse. Twerking is what's up. Me and John Kelly twerked in victory when we bet him as an underdog that one time. Good times, good times. Jonathan Dixon saying, leave it as my first parlay piece of the week. Jonathan Dixon, as in Dixon Cider, are you on the wrong handle, Dixon? Is that my guy? What are you doing? Jonathan, if you just happen to have an unfortunate last name with my buddy Dixon Cider, who's always in the chat, I apologize. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Next up, you have got Jaffo Filho and Alan Nascimento. One of the first issues on this card, which you guys know what that means. It's Friday. We're switching hats. We got the tinfoil cap here coming out for this one, you guys. We've got Alan Nascimento missing weight, 127.5. He blew it. And he is taking on Jaffo Filho, who looked good, rocking his sunglasses up there. No problems. 126, all smiles, screaming, let's go. This guy's amped up. This guy's ready to go. And you know what? I've talked about this before. Nascimento is a size bully at this weight class. He's massive. He is absolutely massive. And as far as I'm concerned, Jaffo Filho is about as close as it gets to somebody sizing up well with Alan Nascimento, because he is a big, big, big man, and he always rocks a massive size advantage over everybody. That's about as close as you can get to not being at a huge size disadvantage against Alan Nascimento. So Jaffo Filho, not a small man himself. Weird fight, right? So I know a lot of people are buying on the Jaffo Filho side of things. This number has come down. Alan Nascimento was minus 155, minus 160 earlier in the week. This is closing much closer to pick 'em. Nascimento is now minus 125. You can get plus 105 on the Jaffo Filho side of things here, and the over 2.5 minus 145. So it is still favored to go the distance, which I find so very, very odd. This fight is very confusing to me. It's one of the best fights on the card, frankly. But as far as the outcome goes, I think this one's very difficult to predict, because Nascimento, I think, might be the better striker. Jaffo Filho, I think, is the more volatile, violent striker. So if there's going to be a finish, I think it's probably more slated to the Filho side, unless it's a cardio thing. We have seen Jaffo Filho tire out late into a fight, and we have seen Alan Nascimento take advantage of that. Obviously, both these guys are extremely high-level submission threats. We've got Jaffo Filho, who almost locked in that knee bar against Muhammad Mokaev. Could have been the only man to ever beat or finish Muhammad Mokaev if he had locked that up, or if Mokaev wasn't Gumby, or some, twice removed cousins with Gumby. This one's tough. I said on Monday, I think it's dog or pass, and I think I'm going to hold true to that. But I think this fight really comes down to the cardio. I think this is a live bet opportunity waiting to happen, because Alan Nascimento, if he's really controlling the range and controlling the pace off a 2-year layoff and missing weight, he could very much have either botched his weight cut because it's been so long, or maybe he could have taken an advantage, that kind of thing. I could very much see him just controlling this fight and not letting it really get super violent. Whereas if Jaffo Filho pushes the pace here, anything can happen. He could break Alan Nascimento, who's looking for a slower paced fight. He could tire himself out going up against a much larger human being and then end up being helpless towards the end of the fight. I mean, this fight really has a complete range of options here. I am not sure how this is going to go, you guys. I still think I'm picking Jaffo Filho. I like his viciousness. I'll say it that way. I really like his ability to get out there and get after it. Jaffo Filho by sub is plus 550. The KO, ironically enough, is $2 cheaper at plus 350. So some people thinking the KO is probably what's going to happen. I mean, with the way he attacks the body and with how big Alan Nascimento is and stuff like that, I could see that happening. But frankly, Alan Nascimento didn't look bad to me, you guys. Like, I know he missed weight, but he didn't look bad to me. So he's going to be much, much larger. He's going to be much more hydrated. And of the two of them, he's the guy with fewer cardio concerns, right? Like, I know he slows down, but Jaffo Filho has been submitted in the 3rd round before. Alan Nascimento has round 2 and round 3 finishes. So I kind of lean towards like Alan Nascimento late finish in this spot, just surviving, hanging on, and then once Filho tires out, taking advantage. This is the hardest fight on the board, you guys. It's pick 'em for a reason. The line move says the market likes Jaffo Filho. They've never let this thing hit pick 'em or flip. So Alan Nascimento is still the bookie side here. And I think there's some sharp action on the Alan Nascimento side. So I'm going to leave it alone. This is one of those fights where it's a banger. It would be fun to have some, feather in my cap as far as getting it right or something like that, but it's a coin I don't need to flip. And frankly, it should be a good enough fight that it's not one I need to gamble on to be entertained with either. That's kind of the key, I think, with some of these fight cards is where some of us are betting just to be entertained on some of these fights. I don't have an edge here. So if you want to go crazy, right, you want to have something just for fun, Alan Nascimento round 3 or Jafel Filho round 3. Jafel Filho round 3 TKO at 18-1. That's disgusting. That should be a much higher number. Those are the kinds of things that I'd be looking at, right? Because those are the kinds of bets that are fun to sweat. And those are the ones that are a big payout if you do hit and you happen to be right. But I don't need to have that here on this fight. So I'm gonna just let this one pass. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna take notes. I'm gonna enjoy it. If we see an edge in fight, if Filho starts huffing and puffing and Nascimento starts taking over, jump in. But until we see something like that, we'll probably let that roll. Greg, what is going on? You love to see it should be your trademark. Actually, I got to shout out my guy Keg, the sports Keg. He says you love to see it all the time. I think he infected me. Louis Mack Jr., appreciate you being here, even though you're a little bit late, my friend. No problem. No problem at all. C-Del has some Filho round 3 in pocket, or I guess round 3 in decision. Not bad at all right, keep it rolling, everybody. We've got almost 300 of you in here live right now. Do me a favor, share the show, hit the like button, get subscribed. Let's roll. We have got Dusko Todorovic taking on Zachary Reese. Dusko came in at 186, blank face, no problem. Zen up there, no real issues. And then Zach Reese also came in. Baldy Zach Reese, he definitely is going with the shaved head again, which I'm torn on because I feel like he lost his aura with the curls and the mullet. And I'm a member of the bald gang myself, so I really shouldn't be knocking on the guy, but he just doesn't look nearly as good. He can't pull it off, okay? Some of us look dead sexy and get married and have women we have to beat them off with a stick to get them away from us because we have the bald head, okay? I'm speaking from experience here. Others look a little hobo-y. So, I mean, Zach, I'm sorry, buddy. I know you're a member of the club, but you're just not pulling it off the way that I do. Zach Reese does have a height advantage here in this spot. He does have a significant size advantage here, but that's because he's a size bully. That's what this guy does. He gets in there and he's just bigger than everybody he fights, and that's how he got to the UFC to begin with. I am not impressed, ladies and gentlemen. A la GSP. I am not impressed with your performance. He's not a guy that I like. Okay, Zach Reese is a bum. I'll outright say it. He's very close. No, not very close. He's worse than Nursultan Frontzepoev. Like, this guy has no chin. This guy has no 15-minute striking game. This guy has no wrestling. He's a BJJ meme fighter who wants to snatch an armbar or a triangle off his back if you let him. Otherwise, he tries to nuke you with one at a time big shots on the feet. And like I said, he's a size bully. He's bigger than you. He's stronger than you. He hits harder than you. So if it works early, it works and it looks good. But we have seen what happens when the fight doesn't go his way. And twice now in the UFC, he's ended up on his back and he's been completely pasted. Like, this man has been slammed into the canvas of the octagon, and some lucky, Elon Musk's unidentified child that has a big bank account has the floor of the UFC canvas hanging up in his room, and it's got Zach Reese's blood splattered all over it. Like, this guy just gets absolutely decimated once he ends up on his back at the UFC level. It's not a good move. Now, Dusko is not a good fighter. So don't get me wrong, you guys. I'm not touting Dusko as this world beater, this killer, this amazing fighter, but he's got that never say die attitude about him. He knows how to wrestle. He knows how to scramble. He knows how to end up on top instead of ending up on bottom in these situations. He has never been submitted. Yes, he's been knocked out. I'm not going to fail to mention that. But he's also done things like go the 15-minute distance with a guy like Gregory Rodriguez. He's also, been in there with extremely high levels of competition. Chidi Njokuani, he's been in there with, I already mentioned Gregory Rodriguez, but, Punahele Soriano, like, it's not a high level, but you know what I mean? He's got way more UFC fights under his belt than Zachary Reese does. And Zach Reese is a live and die by the sword type of guy. I beat the line move here, ladies and gentlemen. Dusko was plus 200 earlier in the week, and I liked it. So I jumped in. He's absolutely a guy that I put my money on. Zach Reese is somebody who I want to fade at all costs. You heard me. I know we're fading shit with shit, and that's something that you try not to do. But believe it or not, even busted old Dusko is more durable than Zachary Reese. I think Dusko is going to get on top of Zach Reese. I think he's going to survive the early 2-minute onslaught. And then Zach is going to have, Vietnam flashbacks here and end up on his back. And Dusko is going to punch him in the mouth. I talked on the Monday podcast about this, you guys. It's very, very important here. Zach Reese is making such a quick turnaround after his last fight. Okay. I know they're both coming off of knockout losses, but you've got Dusko, who is taking 6 months to recover. Zach Reese is coming off of 3-4 months of recovery here. It's not a good thing to be turning around that quickly. And he was completely out cold. They had to stretcher this man out of the cage. The referee dove in, knocked him over, bounced his head off the back of the canvas. He got knocked out twice that night. I'm not joking. Go back and watch the video of it. He was not there. His eyes were rolled back in the back of his head, glossed over, like he was dead to the world at that moment. Those are different knockouts. One guy has had much longer to recover than the other. So there's a very real possibility that Zach Reese is just a fraction of himself coming out here in this fight. He already wasn't very durable, but when you get concussed like that, it's that much easier to concuss you again. Dusko, to his credit, was still scrambling. He was still trying to stay alive in there against Mansour. When Mansour had him on his back, he was looking for a leg. He was looking for an opportunity. He was trying to find his equilibrium. Like, he was trying to be in that fight. And unfortunately, was just dealing with too big of a beast. Zach Reese, on the other hand, not too big of a beast. This guy will make a mistake. This guy will end up on his back. This guy will decide to grapple at the wrong time. This guy will back off, and he will let you find your distance and your timing again. I am all in on Dusko. When I say all in, it's a 2-unit play. But Dusko is being upgraded, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, we had a cancellation this week. Trevin Giles, my dog of the week, is no longer on the card. My biggest regret about that is my shot bet with my man Ethan Hershey. I was going to force him to drink 3 shots of whatever alcohol of his choosing when he lost the bet to me. It's off the table. So Ethan, I apologize if you're there. Maybe we'll get one going next week instead. But we are upgrading Dusko Todorovic. He is now the Link Memorial Dog of the Week. And the reason I'm going with Dusko is because, frankly, I went with low level with Trevin Giles with my initial Dog of the Week call. So we're going to stick with the low level, right? Like, I'm going to make it kind of a ballpark similar style fight. That way, it feels like the record is intact, right? I'm not gonna go get like a plus 110 type of underdog and try and squeeze an underdog pick in there. No, we're honoring my boy Link. We're going for the big dog, and we beat the line move. I'm feeling good. Let's go Dusko. One time for me, buddy. One time. What is going on, Daniel? Tom, my friend, appreciate you being in the chat. What is up, buddy? Happy to have you in the chat. Always. Thank you very much. All right, guys. All right. Let's keep it rolling. I spent way too long because I can't say. I always am so excited to fade Zachary Reese. I spent way too long on that one, but let's keep it moving. You've got Ketlin Vieira taking on Macy Chason, which, ladies and gentlemen, we got to switch hats again. What is going on with this card? We lost a fight, and we've got all kinds of weight misses, and this one moved weight classes. So what happened here was apparently Macy Chason made weight. She woke up at 138 pounds or something like that this morning. She was going to be on point for 135. Ketlin Vieira's team informs them she's not going to make 135 pounds, and she was rushed to the hospital due to complications with her weight cut. Now, Macy Chason got to go ahead and put on that extra weight, rehydrate real quick. She looks good on the scales, no problem with her. Ketlin Vieira, on the other hand, looks like she went to the hospital. Like, look at her face. She looks like a woman who was in the hospital at midnight last night. She's completely drained, and not, and I'm not trying to be sexist or anything. The hair is completely matted and messed up. Like, she's not done up trying to have a photo op on the scale like you usually would see. She's not blowing kisses to the crowd. Like, this chick is barely alive trying to get to her job tomorrow. Like, that's the look. That's the look of somebody whose soul got left in the waiting room at 11 o'clock last night, and it's still waiting there for her to go back and pick it up. Big issue here for me. Even though the fight got moved up to 145 pounds, and people think, oh, it's a disadvantage that Macy Chason had to cut all that extra weight down, I actually think it's more of a disadvantage that Ketlin had to go through that being at the hospital instead of resting and relaxing last night, and the fact that her body was incapable of getting down to 135 pounds, and now she's somehow going to try and turn around and fight. I would not be shocked if we woke up in the morning to a notification that this fight gets pulled. Like, I don't want to like jinx it or anything like that. I'm not trying to. I'm letting you guys know. Look at this woman's face. I would not be at all surprised if her team pulls her before the fight tomorrow. Now, when they face off, here's the thing that kind of surprised me the most. Ketlin Vieira is always in it when it comes to size. Ketlin Vieira is always in it when it comes to the way she sizes up with her opponents. There's a pretty significant size advantage here for Macy Chason. And I even went back and I looked it up. I don't have it queued up for you guys right now, so I apologize. I'm slacking on that. But I even went back and looked it up. And Kayla Harrison, well, she's more of a tank, right? She's got all that muscle on her and stuff like that. But Ketlin Vieira was larger, taller than Kayla Harrison. And that was one of the things that I used to kind of justify that, like, well, she had a hard time taking her down. She was fighting a bigger opponent, blah, blah, blah. I didn't expect Macy Chason to have the kind of size advantage here that she does. I believe per the numbers, they're supposed to be the same size. They are not. And this is why we do this show. If you weren't expecting a Macy Chason size advantage, neither was I. Now you know. She's got a size advantage coming into this fight. Now, yeah, she's spindly, right? She's long, she's skinny, she's a broomstick, but that doesn't matter. Like, she's got a physical advantage that we were not otherwise expecting. Guys, this already was a Macy Chason spot, in my opinion, at Pick'em. And I was kind of like, I don't think I want to get involved in a low-level women's MMA Pick'em fight, but the tinfoil hat speaks for itself, guys. You end up in the hospital the night before. Somebody says, hey, we can't make weight, but we're going to go ahead and try anyway. Bitch, give me Macy Chason. We are going to put our money on Macy Chason. She's a minus 135 favorite right now. I'm going to shop around and see if I can squeeze a minus 125 in there. If there's a 120 or a 125 dangling out there in the world somewhere, I will be snatching. And we are going to add Macy Chason as an official bet. I already picked her to win. I already leaned her way. Yes, I said it was close. Yes, I said it was sketchy, but I think one of these women is compromised and the other is not. And I also see that look, that dead-eyed fish look in Ketlin Vieira's face. That's not a woman who's ready to step into a cage. That is not someone who's ready to protect themselves and fight for their life. Macy Chason is at the point in her career where she's figuring shit out. She's ready to go in there and dominate. She's looking for that title shot. Ketlin Vieira, on the other hand, is coming off getting her ass whooped by the top contenders. She knows that she's not getting a title shot anytime soon. She knows she's not going to be up there fighting any of these women again, rematching, looking for gold or anything like that. She's been very, very clearly put in the corner as a guardian level fighter, right? Like she's a gate guardian level fighter. What's the I'm missing the term there. What am I talking about? But Mark agrees with me. He says he's all in on Justin Bieber. Completely agree. Like that's what's up. We're rolling with the Biebs here this weekend. Yeah. We're going Macy Chason, ladies and gentlemen. Can't help myself. And you know what? The hat's got to come back out. The hat's got to come back out for this one. Crazy as it sounds, Macy Chason, round 3 sub, 35-1. She tries to bully people in there. She tries to use her grappling. She tries to get on top of you. She's very opportunistic. She's got subs. She's been finishing a lot of her fights recently. I think this is Macy Chason 2.0. And especially considering you've got a wounded animal in front of you, someone whose cardio is probably not where it should be, someone whose durability is not where it should be, someone whose decision-making is not where it should be. yeah, that's someone you can defeat, and that's somebody you can finish. I think I'm going to take shots with Macy Chason by sub this week, you guys. And that sounds crazy because Ketlin Vieira doesn't get finished. And Ketlin Vieira survived somebody like Kayla Harrison without giving up takedowns. But I don't think that this is the same version of Ketlin Vieira. 10-1, Macy Chason by sub? Hell yes, we're doing that. Mushroom, Gatekeeper. Thank you. It's so simple. You guys, I got to tell you, when you get on stream and your mind is like over here and then you try to go this way for a second, sometimes it just doesn't work. Like you straight up can't remember the simplest thing. Like you can't even remember your own last name, where you're going for this and you're so locked in on this side of things that your brain just short circuits sometimes. So yeah, Gatekeeper. Thank you, Mushroom. Appreciate you bailing me out here. So I said over 2.5, you guys. On my totals show this week, I talked specifically about this fight, and I said over 2.5. That was before all this hospital shenanigans. I don't know that this fight goes over 2.5 anymore. When you've got somebody who's dealing with that, a blown weight situation, an unhealthy situation, a lost sleep situation, a bad rehydration, like those are the things that affect a fight going the distance. So does it go the distance? I mean, it probably still does, right? Like it probably still does. But what if she sticks her neck in a choke because she's not all there? What if she runs out of gas halfway through round 2 because she's not all there? Like there's just so many more factors now that there weren't when we talked about this fight the last time. So yeah, I'm going to have to lean Macy. We're not leaning Macy anymore. We are betting Macy now, and we're going to go ahead and take advantage of this gift from the MMA gambling gods that they have presented us. Thank you. Let's go. George Ray Pro in the house. What is going on? Appreciate you. MMA Lock says Macy Chason round 3 or decision at even money. I mean, I don't mind that, but here's the thing, MMA Locks. I don't get why you would take even money when minus 135 is sitting there. 30 cents. Like, are we really arguing over 30 cents? What if she gets around to, I don't want my dick out in my hand, sad jerking it, because she got a round 2 finish, right? It's like, oh, yay, I was right, but I lost my money. Like, that's not a big enough gap. If she was minus 180 and the round 3 or decision is minus 110, that's significant. That means something to me. But at 30 cents, I'm like, nah, I'll just play the money line. All right, guys. Next up, Dustin Jacobe takes on Bruno Lopes. Lopes. Bruno, 206. Honestly, he looks a little rough up there. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I don't think he has like a massive cut or anything like that, but maybe he's just naturally eyes sunken in. I've got that. I look like that, right? Like you know what? Funny story, actually. It looks like, see, look, I always got like these little baggies under my eyes. You guys probably thought like my daughter's a pain in the ass or like my wife bitches at me all the time or something. I'm not tired. I'm just like this naturally. My mom thinks that when I was a kid, I broke my nose and it was like never caught or something like that. Like we just didn't know about it. And so like my nose healed wrong or something. And so I've got these like dark circles under my eyes. That's just how I look. So I'm wondering if that's the situation with Bruno. I'm wondering if he just looks like that, right? But to me, it looks like he had a bit of a rough weight cut. Anyway, his opponent, Dustin Jacobe, came in looking like $1 million. Classic Dustin Jacobe here, weighing 205 pounds. No problem. Big flex. Abs popping out. We're doing good on the scales today, aren't we, Jacobe? When these two guys face off, Bruno went full cowboy hat. I mean, why are there so many Brazilian cowboys? Like, I'm from the desert, man. I rode horses growing up. You guys didn't know that about me. I can ride a fucking horse. I'm not even kidding. But where all these cowboys come from? Somebody explain this to me. Why is every Brazilian a cowboy? They all love the cowboy hat. They all love the aesthetic. There was a literal, like, the cowboy. Like, they go by the nickname. Davison Figueiredo's got a cowboy hat and a farm. Like, why are they all cowboys? Somebody explain this to me. Anyway, you've got Dustin Jacobe, who I think has a significant experience advantage. He's got a size advantage very clearly. He's got the kickboxing advantage. And Bruno, while he might be a little bit younger, is green coming off Dana White's Contender Series. And you guys know if I can, I do everything I can to fade those guys. Now, he's a little bit of a wild man. So there's a chance that Dustin Jacobe is past it at this point. I mean, I think he kind of answered some of those questions in his last fight, giving Vitor Petrino that massive fraud check in his last fight. I do worry a little bit about the chin of Dustin Jacobe. I think he's been cracked a few too many times recently for my liking. So that is a bit of a concern for me. But at the end of the day, the way he controls the space, unless Bruno like steps in and just like hurls a softball and clips him with it, I don't think he's going to be able to strike with Dustin Jacobe. And I don't think he's got the wrestling to get the game to the ground where he might have a grappling advantage. So yeah, this is Dustin Jacobe for me. Total is at a pick'em sitting at 2.5. So the bookies are letting you know there's a decent chance this thing goes under. I kind of think Dustin continues his old man revenge tour here and gets a KO plus 165. It's a bit of a gross price tag, but I am not sold on this young kid just yet. The under might be the better option just in case, because like I said, Dustin Jacobe does feel like he's maybe a little bit past it at this point. He's been submitted twice. He's been knocked out twice. And one of those KOs comes pretty recently. Now, granted, it was my boy Dom Reyes who went ahead and iced him in that fight. So we're talking different levels of skill, different levels of power here, but maybe the under is an easy way to play this one. I'm picking Dustin Jacobe. I don't have any action on it just yet. If I were to bet this, it would be Dustin and it would be under. I think I like other spots on this card. So unless I just wake up with the itch, crackhead style, like you guys know I do on Saturday morning, I don't think I'm going to bet this one. I mean, maybe I throw Dustin Jacobe in there in like a 2-legger parlay or something like that. But I don't know. It's not my favorite one. Ulysses asking, do you think tomorrow's going to be fun to watch? That's a loaded question, Ulysses. I mean, for me, I'm an always MMA guy, right? If I would rather have MMA than not MMA. And we are entering the absolute worst time of year, you guys. Let me just tell you now, World Series of Poker is going on. So I've got my my Daniel Negreanu poker vlogs and all the guys I like to watch out there gambling and stuff like that. So that's good times, right? Shout out Ryan DePaulo, one of my other favorite creators when it comes to gambling and betting. But the sports have dried up. I hate basketball. Basketball sucks. Basketball bores me, right? Like I'll play basketball only if you get a room full of other fat guys to play with me. I will play basketball, but I'm not watching that shit. And so everything else is over. I love the NHL playoffs. Best playoffs on planet Earth. You couldn't get better than the NHL playoffs. They are so good. But now we're down to the final two. We're into the Stanley Cup finals. So there's no hockey, and they're going to give these guys a break between games. So like I have nothing to watch between the weeks. So it's MMA or nothing. Thank God for Spectation Sports, you guys. Shout out Spectation Sports. Find the link in the description below because they've got more cards for you guys to watch, and they do like Thursday, Friday shows and stuff like that as well. So I'll take all the MMA I can get. It's better than anything else, but this is the dry patch of summer where I lose piles trying to gamble on baseball because it's the hardest thing on planet Earth to actually bet on and win. I don't know how people do it, but I get bored, so I bet home run props, and that's basically all I do for the next 2-3 months, and I lose a lot. So I need to win. I need to win on MMA so that I can fund the degeneracy. But yeah, this is my least favorite time of year. So I think that circle all the way back around. Longest possible way to answer your question. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Low-level fights are always fun. These types of cards are the ones that actually come through for you. You know what I mean? Alan Nascimento, Filho, banger. I think Brian Dos Santos stands a good chance to get a finish, believe it or not. Oki, he pushes the pace. There's a chance for a finish there. Zach Reese and Dusko Todorovic, that fight probably lasts 3 minutes. I mean, this is going to be a fun card. And then Billy Ray Goff is must-see TV. So, yeah, I think this will be a fun card. So I'm in. All right, guys, we've got 360 of you live watching the show. Thank you all for being here on a Friday. Let's stay undefeated. Next up, Billy Ray Goff. Shout out Spectation Sports. If you guys haven't signed up, you really should. But Billy Ray comes from Cage Titans, which is under the Spectation Sports banner. So we know a little bit about this guy coming in the door. He looked good on. No, this is Ramiz. What am I doing? That's Billy. Billy Ray Goff looking like Tarzan up on the scales today. Look at the amount of muscle my man has put on. Holy crap. He is about as thick as it gets. Dear God, Billy. Billy came in at 170 on the dot. Ramiz Brahimi 171. And I got to tell you, Ramiz was pretty shredded up there himself. He looked like he was in very, very good shape, and he was feeling himself too. He was like patting his chest, big old smile, being cocky up there. These two size up pretty well, except Ramiz actually has a little bit of a size advantage here. I will give the thickness advantage to Mr. Billy Ray Goff. I can't wait for this fight, you guys. I cannot wait for this fight. So this one is interesting to me. I'm a little bit torn because I want all the spectation guys to do well. I want the spectation guys to make waves. I want to be able to shout them out on the podcast. I want to be able to, retweet clips of them doing shit so that spectation just keeps going the right direction because I built a good relationship with them. But I kind of want to bet on Ramiz Brahimi in this spot. I don't understand why the line is so wide, and I don't understand why it's going even further Billy Ray's way. Billy's done nothing at this level to prove that he deserves this number here. He's a minus 400 favorite at this point as a 9-3 fighter. He is 26 years old, so he's young. I expect him to get better, but he's 1-1 off Dana White's Contender Series against lower level Dana White's Contender Series guys. So he's fighting an opponent who's got a grappling advantage over him, who's older than him, not older so much that it would be a detriment, but like older in an okay way. A guy who's durable as hell. He's never been finished. And I know you're going to cry foul about the KO, but his ear got blown off. He didn't really get finished in that fight. A guy who's fought higher levels of competition, a guy who's training with Bilal. Like, I see Ramiz as a guy who's very, very live in this fight, who very much could compete in this fight. And Billy, God love him, runs face first into everything. This man comes forward and he looks to kill you, and he looks to break you with his pressure and his pace. And that's all he does, is he just wants to keep on coming forward and crack you with everything he's got. Now, I do think there's a chance that Ramiz gets broken by a guy with exactly that type of game plan. But I also think that it's very, very, very live for Billy Ray to walk into a big shot. We just saw Ramiz improvements as far as his striking goes. We saw his power that he's got that was something we didn't really realize he had before. And he absolutely starched Mickey Gall, who's been very tough throughout his UFC tenure for the most part. So yeah, I think there's a very good probability of this fight finishing. I like fight does not go the distance. I'm not entirely sure how I want to play this one. Because the over 1.5, I think, is also live, which is weird. I feel like the finish probably comes. If it's round 1, it's probably Ramiz. And then if it's round 2 or round 3, it's probably Billy. However, with Ramiz never having been finished, I'm not entirely certain I want to bet violence just because of how tough the guy is, how he refuses to quit. Like, yeah, he gets tired. He could gas out in this spot, but we've also seen him go 15 minutes before, even when he's been the nail. So I don't really want to bet on Ramiz getting finished. This is a dog or pass situation to me. I could agree with Billy Ray being the favorite and winning like a 29-28 decision here, or potentially breaking this guy late. I get it. Absolutely get the angle. Is probably terrible right now, but can you at least hear me? Can you hear me now? I'm so frustrated. I know. Okay. All right. Audio's awful now. I'm going to have to figure that out. I don't know what the hell happened. Sorry about that, you guys. Let's get through the rest of this, though, because now I'm going to be pissed off that the end of the podcast has terrible audio yet again. I hate my life. All right, next flight up. You have got Klein, and he's taking on Mateusz Gamrot, and dear God, the amount of size on Klein. Like, this guy, people talked all week about him being a 145er, a former 145er, and he's just jacked as it gets. The amount of muscle this man has put on the nuclear piss that he probably spits out. He melts toilets when he urinates. Like, my goodness. I like Klein this week, you guys. Gamrot going crazy eyes on the scale today. He was talking about how he needs to trust himself more. He needs to go out there more. He needs to be more aggressive. You guys, this man's been dropped in 5 of his last 10 fights. 6 if you count the Hooker fight, which I do. So this man has been beaten up. He's been hurt. The durability's fading. He is getting older. And now he's talking about going out there and trusting himself more. He's talking about going to war. He's talking about making a statement. I love you, Gamrot, but this ain't the time. Like, you're already getting beaten up, you're already getting hurt, and now you're going out there against a nuclear little monster, and you're going to push a pace like that? I mean, Godspeed, dude. That's why I'm betting Klein, you guys. I got a short dog line, plus 140 or so on Klein. I beat that line movement ever so slightly. This one does worry me because it does seem like everybody, like absolutely everybody in the world who I know that I follow is betting Klein. I actually hesitated for a second because the amount of love that I saw for Klein, but at the end of the day, I was like, okay, but I think he wins, though. I think the UFC is trying to get rid of Mateusz Gamrot. So I'm going to bet him because I feel like he wins, and I feel like I should bet him. Like, if I wasn't going to, if I didn't believe that he was actually going to win the fight, then I wouldn't bet him. But I think he's going to win the fight. So I had to pull the trigger regardless of however many people in the world also have bet Klein. And I actually think the knockout prop is something that we need to take a look at. Yes, he's been kind of decisionating lately, but what you do see from these types of fighters is they kind of arc, right? Like, they start off hot and heavy, big KOs, lots of flash, and then they balance out a little bit. They well round their skills, and then it comes back. And then once they finally find themselves, they do start knocking people out again. On top of the fact that he's taking on somebody relatively chinny, I think I like him to get this fight done by KO. I'm already betting the money line. I thought about making him the dog of the week, but we're just going to go ahead and roll with it, right? Main event, you guys. Macy Barber taking on Erin Blanchfield. Barber missed weight. Dear God. I have her as an underdog, plus 200 already in pocket, and she is missing weight on me. And as you can see, she looks absolutely awful. Face sucked out, eyes sunken in. If you watch the video, she wobbles on the scale. This is a terrible look coming off of a health scare layoff for Macy Barber. So I do not like what I'm seeing on the scales from Macy Barber today. Her opponent, Erin Blanchfield, looked good, all smiles, little soft. You know, she's a little smaller for the weight class, never really has issues making weight or anything like that. Barber has a size advantage, and when they got up there, got nose to nose, bullied her way in physically, tried to kind of push Erin Blanchfield around. This got intense. I love the heat in this fight. I love the way these two are kind of jawing at each other, both women talking. Like, I'm very excited because this really is the future of the division. This fight is for who's going to be potentially one of the next title challengers, right? I don't like that Macy Barber missed weight, and the question was posed to me, do we cash out? Because there's a lot of us who jumped in on Macy Barber. There's a lot of us who took the shot on Macy Barber at 2-1. Do we cash out? And I think we have to diamond hands this one, you guys. I really think we have to just dig deep, find our balls, and trust them. Whether you have to run to your wife's purse and dig them out real quick to make sure you've got them for yourself tomorrow, we just have to let this ride. Because I think this is going to be a very competitive fight. Money is coming in on this under. And Barber is the bigger, more physical woman. She hits harder in this case. And I have a theory. Now, I have to shout out the MMA guru. No, not that one. The one from the Chronic Combat Boys. You guys know I like the guys over at Chronic Combat Conversations. The real MMA guru. He did the research that nobody wants to. He did the hard journalistic work that everybody else is too scared to touch. He dug back through the photos, and it appears that Maycee Barber has had some enhancement leading up to this fight. Now, for the women listening, you guys know I try to be as respectful as possible. I am not oogling her titties, as it were, but it's something noteworthy because if she is having a hard time making weight now, she has foreign objects in her body that actually do have mass that weigh more. We've seen this before. Miesha Tate, back in the day, got herself some fakies, and she had a hard time making weight for a couple of fights. Now, she ended up figuring it out. And it ended up not being a problem. But those first couple tries, things are a little bit off because you got to recalibrate for that. So I think we have a bit of a rough weight cut here because she probably wasn't ready for the effect on her body. She's coming off the layoff, and she had a couple of extra things weighing her down a little bit that she's not used to having around in this particular fight. And I will speak from experience here. There's a woman in my life who had breast cancer that got some fake replacements afterwards because of the situation. And let me tell you, these things can be used as a weapon. Now, I don't think that Maycee Barber has bolt-ons, but when someone with bolt-ons gets, top control on you, or God forbid, even just gives you a hug and a little squeeze, those things hurt. Like, it's almost an unfair advantage. If you're a women's MMA fighter and you want to size up so you look better on Instagram, get bolt-ons because they hurt like a bitch. You can get on top of somebody and just like chest to chest and like get that. You could TKO somebody from that position with those things. The pain is excruciating. So there might actually be an advantage here for Maycee Barber. Now, she's going to be the bigger fighter. She's going to be the stronger fighter. I think she's the better striker of the two. And even though Blanchfield has more volume, I think Maycee's going to hit her with like bigger shock and awe counters and stuff like that. I just think the fight's going to play out very, very, very close. And we saw that Blanchfield fought some of the top contenders in this weight class and already lost. We know the UFC absolutely loves Maycee Barber. They've given a couple of questionable decisions her way already a couple of times. Over 5 rounds, I could see her making an argument for 3 fights or making it close enough to get her hand raised. So yes, I do still think it's Barber. Yes, I do still think it's Barber by decision. Of note, I was talking about Maycee Barber by decision at plus 450 earlier this week, and that number has come down to plus 400. So there's been a little bit of a move. Even though the under is taking money, Barber by decision has gotten a little bit shorter specifically on that prop. I like Barber by decision. I do think Barber by decision is the way this thing goes. I am keeping my money on Maycee Barber. I am not cashing out. If we need to hedge live, that's an option. If you get plus money or even money on Aaron Blanchfield at any point in time in this fight, you can arb your way out of this thing and have a free ticket sitting in your pocket if that's how you want to play it. I'm going to ride with the dogs. So with the fight cancellations and all that movement and stuff like that, you guys, I absolutely got my strategy messed up. I had 4 underdogs coming into today. And the plan is 4 underdogs at plus money. Give me 2 of them and we're off to the races, right? Like I sit back and I collect if I can get 2 of 4 underdogs correct. And then if I get one of the big ones, one of the big plus 200s, like I'm basically looking at being even for the night, even if I go 1 and 3. So I felt like I had a really solid foolproof strategy going into this thing, but I lost my favorite underdog. Trevin Giles is not on the card anymore. So now I'm looking at the 3 other fighters who are a little bit less confident for me. And I have to pray that I go 2 out of 3 in order to go ahead and profit. So we'll see what happens. I did beat all these line moves. Barber's down to plus 180. I've got her at plus 200. Dusko is down to plus 170. I like the move on that one. I got him at plus 200. And then, of course, Ludovic Klein is sitting plus 130. I got plus 140. So a little line move there. I'm more worried about Klein because I could see Mateos Gamrot just mauling this guy for a straight 15 minutes. It's entirely possible. So just to recap real quickly, Reani Dos Santos, I think, is the side. Maybe we do something degenerate with her. I like her inside the distance at plus 450. I like her by sub. And the armbar specific sub, shout out the chat for that one. I'm picking Oki, staying away from that fight. Wouldn't mind a KO prop look there. Leavitt, I like. I'm not sure if it's a decision or a sub, but Jordan Leavitt is probably the side there for me. Watching and enjoying Filho and Nascimento. Don't know what that fight is going to do or where it's going to go. Don't feel like I've got an edge. Don't feel like I have to bet it. Dusko and Reese under 1.5, I think, is something that you could look at. I think it's dog or pass. I like Dusko by KO. Definitely Reese could land a knockout. That's what he does. But I think I want to fade him, period. And then I want to fade him coming off the injury. Macy Chason is the tinfoil cap bet of the week. That is the undefeated post-weigh-in show bet of the week. We won our money on Macy after Vieira ended up in the hospital, and this fight is being allowed to continue at a 10-pound heavier mark. Dustin Jacobe maybe leaning under in that fight. Dog or pass, I feel like Billy Ray Goff and Reese, and maybe over 1.5. I don't like that fight enough to really get involved too much unless I'm taking a degenerate shot on Reese by KO, something crazy like that. I don't think I'm going to have a lot of investment on that one. Obviously, already like Klein. The numbers say over. However, with Gamrot's durability issues, I think Klein by KO is totally possible. And then we still like Macy Barber. We still like the over, even though the market's telling us otherwise. We still like Macy Barber by decision. We just have to hang on tight and hope that that boy gets home. Thank you all so much for watching the show today. I apologize profusely for the audio problems. Brand new microphone. I'll get it sorted out by Monday. Maybe I just hit it with my pinky or something like that while I was doing the show. So apologies for the last couple at the end here that are going to be a little bit sketchy as far as the audio goes. I know you guys like yourselves a little parlay to talk to here. So let's get degenerate right before I let you go. Roundy dos Santos inside the distance. We're going to go Macy Barber by decision. And then for a third leg, we want something reasonable for the last leg. It's hard to find reasonable on this card. This is a dumpster divey card where you call your shot and you take it on this one. You know what? If we're going to call our shot and we're going to take it on this kind of trash can card, we're going to go Macy Chason inside the distance. We're going to get crazy around here. Macy Chason inside the distance. That comes out plus 15025. So a $10 bet would pay back $1,502.50. That's going to be the one that we end up locking in. Right at the end of the show, Nigel Lee, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. All right, you guys, that is the undefeated post-weigh-in show. After the show's over, jump in the comment section below. Please let me know what your favorite looks on this card are. I wish you guys nothing but luck. I will post my official picks, obviously, online, everywhere you can find me tomorrow. Give me a follow on Twitter. Give me a follow on Instagram. Give me a follow on TikTok, whatever your favorite social media platform is. Give this bad boy a like on your way out the door, and I hope we all make piles. Good luck, everybody. Love you guys. Let's cash, and let's roll.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Niggas be up on the block, looking for trouble, you can get popped. If you was looking wealthy, just let a sign, you can get stopped. I seen them running them pockets, they is not chatting, they when I stop. I call that stop and shop, I seen their goods get popped and drop. Niggas be up on the block, looking for trouble, you can get popped. If you was looking wealthy, just let a sign, you can get stopped. I seen them running them pockets, they is not chatting, they when I stop. I call that stop and shop, I seen their goods get popped and drop. Walk in the street like a dope kid, look like a Hollywood movie wrote this. Might just ride and think about some shit, hit a quick lick and run on some dumb shit. I be getting hard by danger, hit a quick lick then masturbate later. Girls be hot and dumb for reasons, they think her shit fun. It be the danger, it be my post rising, knowing that I could get caught. But I be the boss and it be the thought of all of the cash, a nigga just got broken. Head crack it and it's open, still all your money right up in one motion. Just go right with a flow like ocean, this not a game but we out for tokens. Niggas be up on the block, looking for trouble, you could get popped. If you was looking wealthy, just let a sign, you could get